The district manager job is the most challenging position in the retail and the franchise industry. The reason for this is because they are overseeing multiple business units that are far away from each other. Another reason of this complexity is the fact that every business is different. Every business unit has different people, different teams, and they are all having different needs, different challenges. And this complexity is one of the reasons it makes this particular job so challenging. Every single unit is different, and the people within them are different. And so these leaders, these district managers, multi-unit leaders have to have a lot of skills to be successful at that role. Today, we're going to be talking about the fourth critical responsibility of a district manager, and that is the responsibility to execute the business and brand systems in all of the units with a high level of excellence. To be able to accomplish that responsibility, it takes a lot of skills and knowledge and abilities to be able to be successful. So I'm going to cover today 5 specific skills that district managers need to have to be successful at the critical responsibility of executing the business and brand systems. So let's get started. The first skill that a district manager or multi-unit leader must have to be successful in the area of execution of business and brand systems is the ability to be self-driven. One of the biggest differences between a unit manager and a district manager is a unit manager has their day-to-day operations dictate and define what their activities are every day, every week, every month. When it comes to a district manager position, your activities are dictated by the needs in your district. And so you need to be able to be self-disciplined enough to be able to then determine what are those needs and what are the things that you're going to do to make a difference. And being self-driven can either be that you're naturally self-driven or that you have the discipline to then drive yourself into the actions and activities that you must do to be successful. Not everybody has this skill. Not everybody is self-driven. There are people in this world that do need to be told what to do. And if you are somebody like that, or a district manager, somebody like that, it's going to be very difficult for them to be successful because in that role, you need to be able to decide and drive your actions based on the needs of your district. And your direct supervisor, who is who you would expect to tell you what to do, they don't know your stores or your business or your units and your team the way you do. So you need to be able to have that self-driven personality to be able to then motivate yourself to do the actions that you need in your district. So that is the first skill that you need to have. The second skill that you need to have is the ability to properly prioritize your actions. One thing is to have the motivation to do activity. Another one is to have the skill, the ability to properly prioritize what is the difference between what is urgent and what is important. Now, both of those have to be done. The urgent things need to be done and the important things need to be done. And so you need to be able to have the skill to distinguish between one and the other and when one needs to be done versus the other. Because otherwise, here's where you're going to end up becoming a fireman or firewoman if you are always, focusing on only the urgent things, putting out fires, as we say. And so the ability to distinguish between one and the other and have the skill to do one when it needs to be and then move to the other one when it needs to be is going to be an important skill that you need to have as a multi-unit leader. That brings me to the third skill that you need to have as a multi-unit leader in the area of execution of business and brand systems. And that is your ability to conduct an effective unit visit. Doing an effective unit visit is probably the key, most important action that a district manager needs to do on a daily basis to cause change in the execution of the business and brand systems. And if you don't have a clear process on how to do that, and you don't understand the specific steps that you must take so that that unit visit is positive, it moves the business forward, and it is effective in the way that leaves a positive impression in the team so that they can carry on your direction in the improvement of that business unit. You also need to be able to have the skill to do a proper follow-up of whatever that visit outcome was, because at the end of the day, the magic is in the follow-up. And so this skill of being able to conduct an effective unit visit and the process behind it is going to be very important for this critical responsibility. So that brings us to the fourth skill that you need to have to be able to be successful as a multi-unit leader in the area of execution. And that is, you need to have the ability to create an action plan that causes change in your business units. You cannot be in all your units all the time. You have to spend your time in all of them. And at the end of the day, you end up spending a very limited amount of time in each one of them. And the amount of time that you spend in them, not only you doing conducting an effective unit visit, but then if need be, creating an action plan that actually causes change is going to be very important for you as a district manager. You need to be able to have a way with a skill to make a complete action plan that makes sense, one that the manager and leader of the unit can understand and follow up on, and do it in the spirit of development of that leader and not as a punishment for that person. Having the skill to be able to do it in that way so that the spirit of that development plan, which is not a disciplinary plan, but it's a way to help that manager guide them to the next level, is going to be a critical skill that these district managers must have. And then that brings us to the fifth skill of being able to execute your brand and business systems with a high level of excellence. And that skill is the skill to be able to recognize people's contributions. At the end of the day, you're leading people. And people have certain needs, from their direct supervisor. And part of those needs is being able to be recognized by them. And for a district manager or a multi-unit leader to be able to do that and do that well, they need to be two things. Number one, self-aware. I mean, be aware of who they are, what their personality is, what are their strengths and weaknesses, so that as they're leading others, they can rely on those. And then they also need to be aware of their people. They need to be aware of what are their strengths, what are their leadership, their weaknesses, how to develop them to the next level, actually truly care about them. These district managers or multi-unit leaders need to be able to be focused outside of themselves and focus on the people on the team. The more that a district manager forgets, that is about them and focuses more on their people, the more successful that they are going to be. This is a very important skill that has to be developed, because as human beings, most of us think the world revolves around us. And as a leader, you can't have that. You have to focus on your team. And that requires a specific skill and processes and procedures that tells the team how much you care about them. So as you can see, being able to be a district manager and ensuring that your units execute the brand and business systems with a high level of excellence requires a lot of skills. And so if you are interested to learn how if you're a district manager, or if you're a multi-unit franchisee that has one or more district managers, if you'd like to learn more about how to develop those skills in your team members, come join us in our upcoming information session on our multi-unit leadership certification program. If you come to that information session, you're going to learn about the program that we have developed to help you help your future or current district managers accomplish those skills. For you to just register to that information session, you can join us at districtmanagertraining.com. Here at the American Franchise Academy, we focus on providing franchise leaders with the knowledge, the tools, and the resources that you need to be successful. And as you can see, being a district manager is not only a key role within your organization if you're a multi-unit leader, a franchisee. It allows you to delegate operations and to be able to accomplish that time and financial freedom that you want and deserve. But you can only do that if your district managers are properly trained. And for that reason, we invite you to join us in that district manager information session so that you can see if maybe our program is one that can help you in your organization. Having said that, thank you for joining me in this session, and join me in the next session where I will address the fifth critical responsibility of a district manager, which is the responsibility to maintain. How does a district manager ensure that their units are clean and in good working order? All right. Thank you for being with me today, and we'll see you in the next session. Bye bye.